Hello, I'm James Caldwell. Welcome to the Classical Guitar Practice Room. Today we're looking at basic tremolo exercises, Tremolo 101, or tremolo on the first string. I'm calling it that because I'm simply going to rehash the introductory exercises that are found in Pumping Nylon, the basic idea behind tremolo. Tremolo is a classical guitar technique that eludes many players, and unjustly so, I believe. It's not that difficult. It's not that intimidating of an idea. The basic idea behind tremolo is that the thumb will play a note on some string, and the fingers A, M, and I will rapidly play in succession the same note, usually on a different string. So the technique always is the thumb, then A, then M, then I. P, A, M, I, P, A, M, I. I just did that all on the first string, even the thumb on the first string. You would rarely encounter that in a piece of music, but it's a good way to begin practicing this. So looking in Pumping Nylon, the first exercise on tremolo, it's all on the first string. He has 3 exercises in a row here. And the idea is that you play first very slow and very staccato. Planting the fingers. Immediately after a finger plays, the next finger in the sequence goes down. So it starts with the thumb. When the thumb plays, the A finger immediately comes down. When the A finger plays, the M finger immediately comes down. And when the M finger plays, the I finger immediately comes down. And when the I finger plays, the thumb comes down. So it sounds very abrupt and a little unmusical, but it is a good way to train these fingers to move efficiently. Because that is the motions that are required to do tremolo. So exercise 1 would have you play it very staccato for the first measure and the first half of the second measure. And then we put a little speed burst in for a couple of beats at the end of the second measure, and we repeat it. It would sound like this. Repeat. And you can take it at whatever tempo you're comfortable with and slowly bring the speed up. So if we're playing it very slowly, my speed burst is a little bit slower. If we bring up the tempo a little bit on the staccato part, then the speed burst also has to be a little faster. Example. Okay, in exercise 2, he brings in the speed burst a little more frequently. We have 2 beats of staccato notes and then 2 quick tremolo bursts. Exercise 2. Repeat. In exercise 3, he simply makes the speed bursts longer. Full measure of staccato playing and then a full measure of tremolo. The speed burst. Here is exercise 3. So really the thumb can kind of get in the way if it's on the same string as the tremolo fingers, the A, M, and I. In exercise 4, he begins to take the thumb away from the first string. It begins with it on the first string for the first measure. He always returns to the first string after it plays a lower string. So this is quite challenging to bring the thumb back and forth, especially when you get down to the bass strings and the 6th string. Exercise 4 goes like this. And you repeat the whole thing. Now you could play around with this general idea. The exercises across all open strings, I like to put down a chord, maybe E minor, and then perhaps just alternate from a lower string to the first string a little more frequently, so something like this. Something like that, just bouncing back and forth from a lower string to the first string. You can also just take the first string out of it and just kind of play a little thumb arpeggio across the bass strings. I was simply going with the thumb 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for a little bit there, I went 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. Very simple idea. But I kept the thumb away from the first string and I kept the tremolo going on the first string. It's not that hard to make up your own simple exercises for tremolo, especially if you just keep the tremolo on the first string and you let the thumb wander around and perhaps change the chords underneath it. Another one of my favorites that I made up is with bar chords, and the bar chord sequence would be at the 7th fret, it's a B minor, 5th fret is A, 3rd fret G, 2nd fret F sharp, 7. And just playing tremolo on the first string. I think it sounds pretty nice. So there's another idea for practicing tremolo, keeping it all on the first string just to work it out. Now, don't be intimidated by tremolo. You have to practice it slowly at first. There's not that big of a division between a reasonably fast staccato practice and just releasing it and letting it flow. And then finding musical ways to incorporate it into your practice. You could practice this by taking the first string out of it and just practicing the tremolo on the second string, doing the same kind of exercise. I'll put down my E minor chord and I'll thumb around on the lower strings and I'll have the tremolo going on the second string. This really shouldn't be a big deal. The other point I want to make is that when you are practicing it on the first string and you move the thumb around, when the thumb gets to the 6th string and the tremolo is on the first string, that's probably the most difficult hand position to do with tremolo because the thumb is so far away from where the tremolo is going. Your hand is more open. If your hand is in closer to the first string, say on the 3rd string, it feels a little easier because your hand's in a more relaxed state, like that's more comfortable. As your thumb begins to move away, down to the 6th string, your hand is more open, and it's a little more difficult to control the thumb and the tremolo. So practicing it on the 6th string and the 1st string, I think is a good idea. Then alternating the thumb between the 6th string and the 1st string, like this, is a great way to practice it also. So that's a tremolo on the first string only. That's all I wanted to cover in this video because coming up with other exercises to bring the tremolo in on lower strings would just be too lengthy of a discussion. I want to keep it short, but we'll cover more tremolo exercises later. Well, thanks for joining me today in the Classical Guitar Practice Room. Hope that you found this informative and that you will benefit from practicing tremolo exercises. Get your tremolo up to speed. Come back, join me again soon. I've been James Caldwell, and thanks for watching. Just made that up.